So good afternoon, good evening. We would like to welcome all listening or viewing this meeting of the Kansas City Board of Public Utilities, whether in person or through technology. This meeting is being recorded in both video and audio. Please note the following changes to the board meeting structure stated in the board rules of procedure. These regular meetings of our elected board shall be on the first Wednesday of each month of the year, or as otherwise properly noticed at the hour of 6, right at this hour, in this boardroom here at 540 Minnesota Avenue. And if necessary, the third Wednesday of each month shall be reserved for the elected board to conduct work session meetings, elected board committee meetings, executive session meetings, any additional meetings required to conduct the business of the utility. During the public comment section of the agenda, community members who wish to speak to the board will be asked to provide their name, and we'll have 5 minutes to speak. There will be one opportunity for public comments following the substantive agenda items. During the public comment section, members of the public using Zoom that wish to address the board need to use the raised hand feature. It's at the bottom of the application or window to signal that they wish to address the board. Members of the public connected by phone only need to press *9 to indicate they wish to address the board in the public comment section. Those attending in person should sign up on the sheet with Ms. May located near the entry. And if you wish to speak with customer care regarding your account, please indicate that on the sign-in sheet. So as said, comments are limited to 5 minutes and should be directed to the board. And as these comments are public, the board cautions visitors to not disclose, confidential account information or information on an account that is not in their name. And staff will not provide individual account information or history in an open meeting. As always, the public may also email or call the BPU with any concerns. The agenda and presentations may be found on the BPU website, or if you're using Zoom, they will appear on your screen. As another reminder, this is a business meeting of the Board of Directors, and we will conduct the meeting accordingly. The following rules apply to this meeting. Each person in this room will act respectfully towards each other. Personal attacks and accusations towards any person will not be tolerated. State your specific issue to the board only, and we will then determine the team or our staff team's involvement. And attendees shall refrain from side discussion or individual commentary that interferes with speakers or other attendees at this meeting. If side discussion is necessary, please take it, outside of the board room. Well, my name is David Haley. I'm member at large, position 2, and the board president. Other members of our board and staff include our general manager, Jeremy Ash, our second district member, Tom Groneman, Mr. Stevie Wakes, who's our first district member, Brett Parker, who is third district, and our board secretary, Mary Gonzalez, who represents member at large, who's position 1, and our own Rose Mulvaney Henry, who too is member at large, position 3, who is the board vice president. Angela Lawson is our acting chief counsel there on the end. Remember, please, let's put our cell phones on silent. Please also be aware that the microphones are very sensitive and they pick up and record comments made anywhere in the room. Now, before we begin our meeting here on the cusp of Independence Day, 4th of July, please rise and join me in reciting our Pledge of Allegiance, won't you? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to remind our mission statement, not only to the board, but to those who are following us. Our mission here is to focus on the needs of our customers, to improve the quality of life in our community while promoting safe, reliable, and sustainable utilities. So at this point, if we could please ask Ms. Lawson to take roll call for attendance.
Roll call, Mulvaney Henry,
Here.
Parker,
Here.
Gonzalez,
Here.
Groneman,
Here.
Haley,
Present.
Wakes. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Before I ask for a motion to approve the regular session agenda for tonight, of July 2nd, are there any comments on the agenda?
Move to
the
approve.
agenda.
Second.
Motion second. Thank you. If you would, please, Ms. Lawson, roll call.
Roll call, Mulvaney Henry,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Groneman,
Aye.
Haley.
Aye.
That motion carries.
Thank you. Before I ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda for tonight, July 2nd, 2025, are there any comments on the consent agenda?
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Rose, I second.
Thank you. Motion second. If you would roll call, please, Ms. Lawson.
Roll call, Mulvaney Henry,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Groneman,
Aye.
Haley.
Aye.
That motion carries.
Very well. Thank you. At this point in time, we're going to ask our general manager, Jeremy Ash, to assume the role of the meeting. Move us forward.
Thank you, Mr. President. And keeping with your theme of on the cusp of independence, we've kept the agenda light this evening, and we only have Andrew Ferris teed up to deliver the first quarter financials of 2025.
You're a fine patriot.
Andrew, if you would.
Yes, thank you for having me. Andrew Ferris, Chief Financial Officer, BPU. Just wanted to go through the first quarter financials. You driving? Perfect. Started out with the billed kilowatt hours, or the consumption on the energy side. So as you look at the consumption on the energy side, residential is up about 11% over last year, commercial up about 1%, and industrial is down about 12%, for a net consumption of about 0.7% higher than last year. That's really driven by higher heating degree days in both January and February, which drove those higher residential consumption levels. So it was about 12% above normal in January and about 14% above normal in February. So that drives more of the residential heating load. Commercial and industrial aren't impacted as greatly by heating and cooling as the residential side is. On the industrial side, during the first quarter, we did see a few industrial customers well down from their historical averages, General Motors being one of those due to the retooling, and it was down about 35% from last year at the same time. Next slide, please. So on the water side, so billed CCFs through March, what we're seeing is residential is down about 2%, commercial's down about 9%, and the industrial class is down about 18%. So overall, total water consumption is down about 8.1%. Again, it's driven by a few industrial customers are driving the bulk of that decrease. But General Motors year over year is down 52% from the same time last year. So on the revenue side, we do see electric revenue up about 9%, with water revenue flat year over year. On the budget side, electric is about 14% above budget, where water is about 3% below budget. So on the electric side, residential is up over budget, commercial is up over budget, both by about 1.3 million. Industrial is about 1.1 million lower than budget. The big driver here really on the electric side is the wholesale sales. So we've seen that early in the year, where wholesale sales were well higher than anticipated. On the water side, again, it's down about 3%. Commercial down about 131,000, where residential is down about 27,000 overall year to date through March. Next slide, please. So on the operating expense side, electric is essentially flat year over year, where water is up about 6% through the year. Versus budget, electric is about 4% above budget year to date through March. Water is about 7% below budget, and on a combined basis, they're up about 2% over budget year to date through March. As we look at operating expenses, next slide, year to date, less depreciation. So essentially the same slide as before, except it brings in depreciation in that mix. And so electric is again flat. Water is down about up about 7% versus budget. Electric is up about 3% over budget, and water is down about 9% below budget. Again, the big drivers on the electric side versus budget is purchase power is down about 4.7 million. Production's down about 1.2 million. Transmission and distribution down about 850,000, and general and administrative expenses are down about 1 million versus budget. Fuel, on the other hand, is up about 9.6 million, and this is really driven by higher operating run times at the generating units through March. A couple things drive this but higher market prices are what cause units to run, right? So as market prices are higher, our units that are below those market costs will operate. And for this year, for example, natural gas is the primary fuel source setting those prices within the market. And through the first 3 months of 2025, natural gas has averaged $4.15 per MMBTU, whereas last year at this same time, it was $2.13. So it's up about 95% year over year on natural gas pricing. And so that's what's driving up those market prices and the fuel costs associated with those resources. And on the change in net position, so the change in net position is driven by really our net income position, or when income and expenses are recorded from an accounting function. And so really what you see here is that electric is up just over $7 million and water is down about $1.5 million. Again, this is when income and expenses are recorded. The primary driver here is, again, the wholesale market sales, which are much higher than anticipated versus budget and versus 2024 numbers. Next slide, please. This slide, all this slide is telling you is that predominantly, and every quarter, every first quarter going back to 2016 for the past 10 years, that revenues have exceeded expenses. And that's traditionally where we want to sit. We want to make sure that revenues exceed expenses. Otherwise, the operations of the entity don't exist for very long. But this just shows really that we've been consistently performing the way we would anticipate over the past 10 years. Next slide, please. And this is the same graph on the water side. So again, water revenues have exceeded expenses quarter over quarter on the first quarter basis since 2016. And again, this is where you would expect to be to operate a long-term entity in this fashion. So next slide, please. So average daily collections here. So average daily collections, you can see in the month of March, jumped up a little bit from the 2024 numbers. And really that's driven again by the higher heating degree days that we experienced there in January and February. So as those January and February bills are getting paid in March, you see that average collection piece come in as higher volumes on the electric side are getting consumed and getting paid. And so we did see that jump a little bit in March, but again, follows a very similar trend line to what we would expect. Next slide, please. Here we get into the cash position a little bit. And so on the cash position, you can see that we climbed just under $600,000 for the month of March. Fairly typical for the month of March, really based off of, again, loads and consumption on the water side from January and February. Traditionally, the first half of the year, we do lose cash and we expect to lose cash. This year is no different. So going through essentially May into June, we are down on cash overall. And so we're near the 100 days mark. Currently, in the current standpoint, But as we sit here in the end of March, we're at just over 120 days at 121 days of cash on hand. Next slide, please. So yes, as we look at this slide, we are at 121 days of cash through the month of March, right about where we want to be as a goal. Just down a day from last month, but that's really driven by slightly higher overall long-term expense structure. And so again, the cash itself improved slightly, but the days of cash dropped by a day. We are up just shy of 20 days or 40 days from 2024 or $20 million. Some of that was driven by higher fuel inventory in 2024 than we see today. With that said, is we are still sitting on 84 days of coal on the ground today, which is right where I'd expect to be going into the summer season. So we're at a really good place entering the summer season. So next slide, please. So this is just a graphical representation of our days of cash. And so as you see, we've been hovering around the 120 days for a period of time now. We will see that drop over the next few months before we get back to the summer season, and then would expect to climb back into the 120s after that point. So next slide, please. So on the capital spend side, we have seen higher capital spending this year than last. So we're up about $6 million overall from 2024 levels. With that said, is we still do have 78% of the remaining budget left. And so we're right on track to meet the full year expected expense structure, being that it's 78% remaining. Next slide, please. So debt coverage, this is a good slide to see at this point. We are seeing higher liquidity coverage or debt coverage. And so on a combined basis, we are sitting at 3.15 times versus last year at the same time, we were sitting at 2.66. So that's an improvement and well regarded by rating agencies and other entities viewing our books. On the debt coverage without the pilot, we are sitting at a 2.41 times on a combined basis versus 1.94 times as of last year. And again, it shows our liquidity position as debt continues to roll off and our cash position stays strong. That's why these numbers are looking better. Next slide, please. And that is all I got. So any questions on any of this or May or anything else? Or one thing I would like to point out, I do think you received the Fitch information. We just received that this week. And so that is positive news. And essentially, it shows that we're, I think, being good stewards of both, I'll say from a cash position, a liquidity position, but they like what we're doing on the development side as well. So I think they're hopeful that the data center development goes well and that we do a good job bringing that to fruition. And so we'll see what happens there. But we did receive a positive outlook from Fitch. We are currently going through that same process with Moody's now. And so we'll see what their outlook is. But at all three agencies, S&P, Fitch, and Moody's, we're essentially at an A rating, stable on the other two, but hopefully we do see some positive movement on those as well. So good news.
And I think, Andrew, just to point out, we did move from stable to positive. So while given everything we're dealing with and the economy and all of the things, our team is doing the best we can financially.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Abby, does Chris have anybody signed up to speak over there that you can see? Thank you. Rob, is there any hands raised online? No hands raised. Okay. Miscellaneous comments. I did have a note to mention that the Fitch information that we put in your packet, we're excited about that. We're just continuing to work hard and build on the things that we've been doing. And so That's really important. You also have in your packet, the June Community Impact Report. I was going to hit the highlights of that a little bit. And so, the water and electric team, mostly the water, but coordinated with the electric team last month, finished up, replacement of some relays at the water plant. Steve's team and Darren's team kind of collaborated to get that work done, do all the work in-house ourselves, and saved what we had a contract bid to be of about $200,000. So a couple important things there. Number one, we're learning to do more with the facility. Now that they've put it together, they'll have a better idea how to troubleshoot it and maintain it when something goes wrong. And then obviously saving the funding that we would have spent with an outside vendor. So big kudos to those two teams. June 23rd this year, we've hit our system peak so far, 434 megawatts. Don's team has CT4 back online and running, and ready to be used for summer support. Steve's team has kicked off a little over 3 miles of water line replacement in the Northeast service territory. So they're going to be busy over there for a lot of weeks coming. They've also completed 3,000 fire hydrant inspections in the city in the month of June. And then Steve's team also hosted members of the Kickapoo tribe that operate their water system on their reservation here, and just did some collaboration, learning, just professional development and trying to help out and learn things from each other. And then the big one that you've heard a lot about over the last couple of years, Argentine Pump Station. That reservoir is now in service, and operating with about a 7 million gallon capacity. As far as what we're doing and continuing to do with the workforce and the culture, we hosted last week. I'd like to thank Abby and Andrew, but certainly the communications team and the culture club. But we hosted our first ever, I think we called it the Morning Brew. And so Abby and myself and Andrew sat on a panel, and it exceeded my expectations from attendance. So we had about a little over 50 people in the room. And I think Rob told me we had 44 or 49, something like that online. So having an engagement of 100 people was really great. I thought we're going to take that show on the road every other month at a different location, so that folks that couldn't get here or maybe weren't able to get online can have an opportunity to participate. We'll probably have different speakers each month, but I kind of have a feeling that some kind of way Abby and I are definitely going to be drug into it, which is great, which is really good because you know, her group is responsible for quite a bit and a lot of different types of engagement, and certainly me being able to engage people is a really good thing. So we're going to be doing that bi-monthly with the help and facilitation from the Culture Club. Happy to have any of you come along, and you may be asked at some point to be one of the panelists. So we're excited about it. It was really fun. I thought we had a great time, and again, big thanks to Abby and Amber and the Culture Club. We had 5 promotions during June. And another thing I think we're really proud of is we signed up 12 folks to participate in our tuition reimbursement program in the month of June. So we're pushing organic growth. We're really pushing professional and self-development, and people are listening. So happy about that. Dennis's team takes care of all of that. And then last month, I'm sorry, in June, as part of our ongoing volunteerism and community involvement, we logged a little over 150 hours of volunteer time, engaged quite a few number of people, but in particular, what we know people we were in front of face-to-face answering questions was just about 100. So we're going to keep that up. That's going to keep going. We'll hear next month some of what we've already done in July. July is only 2 days old, but last night we were up at the Neighborhood Resource Center for a couple of hours presenting to another neighborhood group. So we're going to continue doing that and getting good information out and getting people to know where the resources are that can help them as well. So last thing I wanted to mention is today is Chris May's birthday. She's 29 and Holden. I verified that a while ago. So Chris, thank you for all you do for me. It certainly made my transition a lot easier. And so I thank you for what you do for me and for the rest of our team. And I hope you have a wonderful birthday weekend. And that's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you so much for the review where we are and our fiscal, certainly, and our standing where we are. Appreciate that so much.
I had one, not to interrupt you, that I did let slip by me. If you would, board members, please stop and see Dennis Dumovich on your way out. There's some updated paperwork that we need to get you, along with scheduling some time with you to update some things. So if you'd see him on your way out, that'd be great. And Abby has it too, I think, so. Sorry.
Very well. No, not at all. That's pertinent information for us all to consider. Appreciate the review. Well, I don't know if there are any we didn't integrate. Usually, if there's some meetings or comments that we've had from meetings that we'd have attended, I guess that's normally brought in. If you can incorporate those, each of us during our various board comments, we'd appreciate any updates or meetings and what have you. And that having been said, let us begin, if we can, with any board comments with our Vice President, Rose Mulvaney Henry, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Andrew, I have to believe that if you are not a poker player today, you might have been one in a prior life. Maybe you'll be one in the next life. Because somebody who's going to deliver news about, from a Fitch rating that is as stellar as that is, going from stable to positive, to refer to it as, hey, it's positive, it's, I don't ever want to play poker against you. I know you know what that means for this utility, you more so than a lot of us, but that is absolutely amazing. And I am glad that we're seeing, such positive results, such positive feedback from the bond market regarding potential economic development initiatives that will directly affect BPU and its revenues going forward. So remind me not to play poker against you, but thank you for that. I appreciate it. So, one of the things, Jeremy, you went through the community impact report, and this is obviously extremely comprehensive. So thank you. Appreciate that. The amount of hours that were logged are amazing. And, we talk about this, and our president refers to it, all the time, sort of this power of community, right? And to see our folks, our BPU employees that are also our neighbors and our friends out in the community, interacting with the community in such a positive way is really, really important. And thank you for your leadership in that, and your team's leadership on that. Really, really appreciate everyone and their efforts that they take for that. One of the things that I had the opportunity last week to meet the new customer care advisor, Mr. Groneman. I don't know if you're aware that we had the opportunity to meet Ms. Glover last week, and first of all, kudos to you for continuing to push that role. Really, really excited about her being here. So just thank you for that. I appreciate it, and want to wish everyone a safe and happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July. That's it, Mr. President.
Thank you, Vice President Mulvaney Henry. Appreciate it. Now, Ms. Gonzalez, district at large. What number are you, Mary Gonzalez? What district do you? District 1 at large. If you would, please. Any comments for the evening?
I'd just like to say, I don't have a very strong voice tonight, so I'm not going to talk a lot. But Jeremy, thanks for that update. There's a lot of good information in that. And happy birthday, Chris. And thank you for everything you do for me.
Thank you so much. You made yourself very clear. Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. You did very well. And to our board secretary this evening, Mr. Parker, Brett Parker.
Andrew, thanks for great information, but more importantly, reflection of great work that's been done by your team and many others. Chris, happy birthday. We are very grateful for you and all you do for all of us. And Jeremy, just really appreciate appreciate the vehicle, but really the work that's going on behind that you're able to bring to everyone and celebrate. I know a really great focus on the culture within the organization, but it's also wonderful to see all the great work going out into the community and building those relationships. So it's I think it's an exciting time to be a part of this organization, and it seems like, every month we have new exciting things on the horizon and projects that we're a part of, and frankly, it makes our lives easier as board members, but really just as members of the community, appreciate that that's happening and get to be a part of it. So thank you.
Well stated. Thank you, Brett Parker. Mr. Secretary. Mr. Wakes, good evening. District 1? Yes, sir. You have any comments for us this evening, Steve
Thank you for
Wakes?
allowing me to speak, though I just arrived not long ago, but want to apologize for my tardiness. I did have death in the family and was talking with family members longer than I anticipated. But again, I believe that I am very privileged, as was stated previously, to be on a board with such great leadership and staff. We are very appreciative of all the work that has gone forth. And want to really say to our general manager and the staff that when the board speaks, you listen. And you're moving in ways because, we speak for the community. And when we speak, you guys listen, and you have really shown forth a great effort to really try to make our community really appreciate the work that you do. So thank you again. Very, very impressed. 7 million gallons. I mean, that's unheard of. So when I heard about the reservoir of 7 million gallons, I said, goodness gracious, we really have a lot of reserve there for water. But to hear the work that's being done in the community, I'm very overwhelmed and appreciative and very pleased to be a part of this board. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wakes. Appreciate that. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I better say happy birthday to our number one leader of this organization, Chris May. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Indeed, thank you. And condolences on your loss, Mr.
Yes,
Wakes.
thank
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Groneman, District 2. Tom Groneman. Yes, sir.
Rose touched on it, but I want to just follow up a little bit. That I am very excited for the new position, the customer care position advisor. I've been advocating for that position for a number of years, and as Steve said, you're listening. And I think that it's something that's been a long time that we've needed, and I'm just excited that we finally have that position, and I think that'll do a lot of good for the organization and for the community. The fact that we now have a credit rating, we're on a positive, that's exceptional. So thank you for all the hard work that everybody's put in to that, to get us to that position. I know it takes a lot of work, and it's not all that easy. It's been a long time in coming. I also want to wish Chris a happy birthday weekend, and hope that everybody has a happy 4th of July and stays safe.
Well stated. Thank you, Mr. Groneman. Tom Groneman. Thank you, sir. My comments are brief. I mean, everything that I could have said has been said. Certainly, first and foremost, wanted to wish Chris May, who in so many ways has the patience, the temerity, and the ability to handle so much around here, the very best as you approach your next cycle around the sun. Happy birthday to you. Continued health. Also to thank Andrew for very subtly giving us what is tremendous news. Has been stated that Fitch, I remember previous board member Bob Mylan being excited about where we were in the ratings, and this would have been a highlight. He'd be jumping up and down were he here to hear how with such aplomb you have shared that with us, the glad tiding. I wanted to touch also on glad to have that we do have the improvement, as Mr. Groman mentioned, that we do have that position filled. I continue to hear around the community the concern about access, primarily through the lobby, as you know, and it seems to be a driving issue still that we have some immediate access for the general concerns that are expressed by the public that would be in person. I know we're getting there. We're not where we need to be yet, and hopefully this new addition that's just been brought on will facilitate further that happening for the access by the public. Finally, I'm going to pass around an article during board comments in March of 2004. There was a salary increase that was reported in a paper called The Kansan. And thank you for, if you do have copies, that if you do, I've asked that, and I'll be brief. By the way, while Ms. May is distributing that, I'm going to check with her and check with our GM to see if I can abbreviate the opening comments, which seem to take quite a bit, and we all know the role. So that we have our opening statements abbreviated a little bit from here on out. But this article that's going out was in the Kansas City, Kansas, March of 2004, 21 years ago, and it spoke to a salary increase or salary hike and how it was done. It was done 21 years ago. 21 years ago, this board raised its salary. Prior to that, it had been done 21 years before in 1983. So it seems like every 21 years, at least for the two cycles, there's been an increase to the board compensation. I don't shy away from the fact that I've raised this every year since I've been here, that we want to encourage to have some adequate compensation, and that once again, it should be considered, it should be listed, it should be budgeted. This board will be changing in the next year, in the next cycle. There'll be a third at the minimal, and as much as 2/3 of a change in the structure in the members of this board. That could happen as early as January or 6 months from now. I would hope that there would be some means, either through board action, as was done during board comments 21 years ago, for that increase, or through something structured in the budget to ensure that the next generation of board membership not be hamstrung with a structure for compensation or the time that you put to be here on this board, that we put to be here on this board, by an antiquated or 2 decades old scale of pay. It's not that much. It would not be that much. We are not the UG or its commission, which, if you ask me, their request was outrageous for what their commissioners would pay. But I think that the future board certainly should have an increase in that salary. And I wanted to reiterate that that's what, I believe. I believe in equity wherever I find myself, and I hope that we take that into consideration. Please, if you have a copy of the article, if there are any questions or how we bring that to a future agenda, or we bring that up for future inclusion, if you have any questions, let's get together on that. We have to do it 1 or 2 at a time because we don't want Ms. Lawson to be apoplectic about a serial discussion. Any other insight, questions, comments? Not so. I would entertain then a motion, any motions that anyone might have?
I move to adjourn.
Wait, second?
Thank you. Ms. Lawson, roll call, please.
Roll call. Mulvaney Henry,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Groneman,
Aye.
Haley,
Aye.
Wakes.
Aye.
That motion carries. This meeting is adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.